the live stream. You don't have to watch everything. It's literally, all my live streams are typically 2.5 hours. I don't expect everyone to, watch the entire thing, but there's little nuggets of information I think that are important, especially for those who are out there at home trying to figure out something to do. You're trying to maybe create a story and you don't know where to start. We had questions and answers to my writing partners who are young, talented guys living in Los Angeles, and they had some really good information. We had, I think, a really good dialogue back and forth about how we approach script and how we keep notes and that kind of thing. So, but before I do that, I'm going to, yes, reach into my box and see what we have. Now, I'm keeping the same box because I figured I might as well just keep going through this pile of stuff to see what I have. So what I've been doing in front of each live stream, if everyone's new, if other people are new to this. Hey, Nate Williams says, hello, love the videos. I was wondering if you have any advice for young animators on choosing your cinematic staging blocking for core emotional scenes when starting storyboarding. Yes, I do. And if you continue to watch this, I will eventually get into those points of interest. But in the meantime, you can always go to my YouTube and subscribe and look at Back to Basics. I have a whole thing on portfolio, what you need in your portfolio. And it kind of has some information in there. And also I have a thing on perspective and lighting and staging. And so look through those Back to Basics and you might find some information in there. But I will be doing an actual it will be a paid tutorial. It'll probably be my first one for Sketch to Animate, and it will be involved in building your storyboards from scratch. If you're just starting out and you want to build storyboards, where do you start? And I'm going to be kind of going in and do something pretty in-depth with that in the near future. So, but what I do in front of every live stream is I pull out, I've got about 6 or 7 of these boxes here, and mind you, they're not as many as some of my friends. Some of the guys that I worked with at Disney, and yes, this is all stuff from my Disney past. I actually have a box that when I was at Cartoon Network that I might share with that at some point. I was at Cartoon Network for a couple of years, so I've got a small box of stuff that I collected from that. But over the years, we've just collected various things that we thought were important, and they're actually really nice and sort of relevant for today's topic. So, just making sure I've got things going here. By the way, if I randomly go back and forth, I apologize. Since I am the only person right now, I could call Anita, because I kind of threw this on her at the last minute about doing 2 times a week. She may not be ready to do this, but in the future, I'll have Anita asking questions. So I'm kind of going back and forth as a one-man band at the moment. So over here it says, I love your old brother video, Aaron, sir. Oh, okay, thank you. And then let's see, John Luke says, hey, Marianne says, good day, Travis. Hope you're staying safe and healthy. Yes, I am. We are staying very safe and healthy. So this is something that from my last live stream, and unfortunately I only have one of these. I wish somewhere in my box I have more. But we're gonna get, and I showed this once before. This is a model sheet of shape language from Joe Mosier from Emperor's New Groove. And what's really nice about this is, and this is something I take, now this was done years ago, but it's something that's very relevant when you're designing. You notice how he's approaching things with color and shape, right? He's literally blocking them out, and then he's carving into those shapes his designs because he's trying to think simple. Simple shapes. Shape, shape, shape. That's why he has shape, shape, shape. This is something I take to heart, and this is something that I've been really putting into practice a lot lately. And it's something that I'm going to be doing particularly for this show, because for this show, one of the things and one of the challenges for animating or developing an animated TV show is you can create like really intricate and really ornate designs, but you have to also think about who could potentially, if your show ever gets picked up, and mind you, I don't have a show picked up. I've worked on tons and tons of shows and pitched a lot of shows with no shows getting picked up yet. But that's okay, because I know eventually we will. But you also, what you have to think about when you're developing is who is your audience first. The artistic feel, and who is going to be producing the production end of your show. So you have to really be smart about how you, without sacrificing design, but you also have to economize and figure out ways to simplify your shapes in a way that other people can follow it. Now, when we're at Disney, we're all working in-house. We've all learned over the years to practice, and there is that luxury of ramping up and getting prepping for your designs for the show, like Lion King or Mulan. We'll spend years developing. I'm typically animating. I'd spend 18 to 24 months on a particular production. That's a long time, and we're all together on multiple productions. So, but when you're on a TV show, time, money, and budget's different. It's faster. You don't always know who you're going to be able to get to produce the show. So you've got to be smart in how you create really cool designs, but yet super, super easy to follow. And that's why I always refer back to the shapes, simple graphic shapes. Really, you can't go wrong. When you start developing those simple shapes and you add your details into it afterwards, you can find that you can find a lot of appeal and really cool designs and not have it be overcomplicated. So I'm going to see if these are some things that I've already showed yesterday. What is this? What do we have? I ended with Timon. Let's see here. I have a lot. Oh, here's something really cool. So when you're designing a character, which is what we're going to do today, we're going to be focusing on Arc, the three main characters, and then I'll probably be talking about the other incidental characters, because this script, I'm going to be developing characters and environments based on what the script needs. So I'm basically, I read the script, I'll be looking through it, I'll be making notes to what is important. What are the things that I need to start developing first? It's kind of like creating your shot list, your character list, your prop list. You got to think about when you get your script, once it's done and it's approved, you then have to go through and you have to figure out, how many shots there are, how many characters are in that, how many potentially environments or layouts do we need? And then we need to start developing a look and feel for it. So typically all this happens in the beginning stages, but we were so quick to writing the script and we liked what we did. I'm the only person designing right now, so I had so many other things on my plate. I'm just now getting around to doing it, but that's okay. It's like now I have a Bible or a script to work from that I can start building these really cool thoughts and ideas from, because now I have something tangible I can read and then put something visual to it. I was going to show you this real quick. This is something really cool you guys might like. This is a breakdown sheet for the animators. This is Ruben Aquino's drawings, and this is of adult Simba. And these are his notes to what you need to think about when you're animating. And it's also notes for the cleanup artist when they go in and they actually do the color steps and they do the line, the final line and look and feel. He's literally broken down. Ruben Aquino is one of those guys that is similar to Nick Renaries and Eric Goldberg. They are incredibly organized and extremely thorough when it comes to charts and breaking things down and giving you information, because they know that the cleanup artist can either make or break your shot. Especially when you have someone following you up. You could do a beautiful animation, but if that lead cleanup artist is not doing their job, they can totally ruin your animation and the performance. So it's very important to have detailed information. Uh, oh, Life Fantasy X says, I love Adult Simba Sheet. The design is so good. James Lopez. Oh my gosh! James Lopez. Speaking of, talented and amazing animator. James Lopez. Great stuff. Good share. So glad you're taking the initiative. If you guys take the initiative, go check out James Lopez. James, can you text your information on this text in Facebook, and then I'll try to get it out there. He has been he's a fantastic animator, but he's been developing his own project for a few years now, and I forget the name of it, James, if you can tell me, but it's steamboat-ish, or like steampunk, not steampunk. It's like, I'll let James explain it, but his show is based on this female character, from what I remember. And I remember him doing this a couple years ago, and he had a Kickstarter, and it made a lot of money. But just look up James Lopez, super talented guy, and see. Oh, thank you. Aaron says, Hullabaloo. Hullabaloo is the show. So that, you got to check it out. I just really like his design and the look and feel of what he's doing. So, and wow, Aaron's online too. Holy crap. Hi, Aaron. Oh, this is cool. Wow. What do we got here? We've got, oh, so I also, during Lion King, I was in cleanup. So I was floating around. I was on several units, and then I became a lead on Zazu for cleanup. But we would get, somebody asked the other day if we got sculptures, sculptures to kind of sit on our desk that we could use to kind of draw when we're looking at different angles. And the answer was yes, we did. And as a matter of fact, for some reason, not everyone would get one of these maquettes because they were limited. So a lot of times they would take pictures, because we didn't have the technology we have today. We had copies. And so we would literally get different angles of, this is of Ed. We would get different angles of this character. And I think Ed was animated by Alex Cooper-Schmidt, if I'm not mistaken. And it's just really cool angles. I wish we had these maquettes. I wish I had these maquettes. I thought these maquettes were really well done. I think Ken Milton, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, maybe Aaron will know. I think Ken Milton sculpted these. There you go. There's different angles and looks. So we would get these when we didn't have access to anything, and that at least was a visual reference for us. And if you guys remember yesterday, I showed you some really cool stuff of Aaron's Nala model sheets. But I just found Tony Ficelli's. Tony Ficelli is such a great designer and a great animator, but he did Mufasa. And these are some of his character designs. If you didn't know, he also was one of the lead character designers on Hunchback of Notre Dame. He's done a lot of stuff for Pixar and The Incredibles. He's worked very closely with Brad Bird on a number of projects, but this in particular I always thought was a really cool design of a lion, and I loved this model sheet, and I'm glad I still have it. It's just got really good expressions, and he's got this sort of like sketchy carving out kind of way he approaches his drawings. When you look at his roughs, they're super like scribbly and stuff, but there's volume and there's depth in it, which is really cool. And then